Carolina. We are very pleased to present to you Great Lives on Greatness TV. This is where we celebrate great lives. This is where it is okay to be great. And have the pleasure to let Dr. Sir Clyde Rivers, the leader, to introduce our guests tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Patrick, my professor, it's always great to be on your show. First of all, I want to commend you for having the courage to create greatness. You know, Patrick, when I travel around the world, I see greatness, but no one's ever identified it. So I applaud you for being a professor and stepping beyond the boundaries. Greatness University, come on, man. And now we have Christina and Ron Kozachuk. Ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea what you're in for. Christina Kozachuk is the founder of Every Girl Wins. She is pushing that initiative all around the world, because if you ever have a chance to actually meet her and spend time with her, she was pregnant at age 13, and I'll have her share her story. And for her life to be what it is now, off the grid. And then Ron, ladies and gentlemen, we have Ron Kozachuk. This man is I call him a man's man, because he keeps it real always. And you know what? And the reason why he's such a strong man is his wife is doing all these great things, and he is her biggest cheerleader. Supports everything. And that in this day is hard. He's not threatened. He challenges, and they work together. And people, we have an announcement we're going to make at the end of the show. And Patrick, I turn it back over to you, but thank you too for being wonderful people. And we're honored to have you as guest on Greatness, because you typify it.
Thank you, Dr. Rivers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rivers, for that great introduction. And thank you very much to Christine and Ron for coming in tonight or this afternoon, for joining us and helping us realize what greatness is, helping us walk through your journey to greatness, to all the achievements and the successes that you've had in life. So, Christine and Ron, could you tell us how you came up with this Every Girl Wins Institute?
Yes. Oh. Sir Rivers has a little part to do with that. So how we came up with the Every Girl Wins Institute is, it's kind of based on my story. But I was one of the delegates that Sir Rivers and Dr. West had chosen to go to Guyana. Mm-hmm. And what I knew my whole entire life, that I wanted to do this, but I just didn't know how to do it. And Sir Rivers and I was sitting in the lobby in Guyana, and we were talking, and he was, I'd already shared his story with him, before, that we were just bouncing, ideas off of each other. And he goes, every girl wins.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that has stuck since.
If you don't mind, Dr. Christine, can you tell your story? People, her testimony, hey, if you aren't sitting down, by the time she finishes the next 5 minutes, you will be sitting down. Christine, can you please share with us your history of growing up that is really a foundation for your organization?
Yes. So when I was 13 years old, I became pregnant with my first son, and I married his father at the age of 14. And I went on to have 3 more children with him by the time I was 18 years old. And between those years that I was married to him, and I grew up in a community of around 700 people. And in that community, they judged me, and they told me I would be nobody, that I was worthless, that, I would amount to nothing. But during the marriage, I was physically, emotionally abused for 4 solid years. I had to quit school at the age of in the 6th grade. My highest education was 6th grade. And the night that I left him without, from the abuse and the emotional abuse, everything, I was literally on death's doors. And I can remember laying there and praying to God to please take me, that I can't live this way anymore. But I looked over and I saw my 3 children screaming and crying, and I picked my 3 children up. I walked out that door. I had no transportation. I had no education. I had no money. He had, tore up all of our clothes. We had no clothes. But what I knew, I wasn't going back to him. And I went on to know that I was going to create an amazing life for my kids, and I did, for myself and my kids. And I never looked back.
Amen.
Yes.
Patrick, are you hearing that? Are you hearing that story, Patrick?
Yes, I have, because I've seen Chris. I've talked to Christine before, but I didn't know all this. It's completely different person I'm listening to tonight. So what gave you the courage? Because in the world at this moment in time, there are lots of people who are possibly living in exactly the same situation. Yesterday I was watching a video of a girl of about 13 years old giving her testimony on how she's being abused, and I guess now the government has gotten involved in a country in East Africa. But how did you get the courage to end that abusive relationship?
Patrick, my courage was my kids. What I knew is that I could not live in that way anymore. And like most women, like most mothers, they want to stay in that marriage because they don't want their kids to be separated from their parents, because I was from a divorced family also. And what I know is this was the courage that I had, that God gave me the courage to walk out that door. And it was also for my kids. He knew that myself and my kids could not live in that way.
Wow. And if you don't mind me, Ron, as you met Christine, that had to be a real challenging process so how did you help build coming from that kind of a circumstance and meeting you?
We walked and talked, I guess, met by accident in Florida. And then she said, I got 3 children. I was like, no way, not at your age. And then all of a sudden we have 3 kids. I was like, okay. And she supported me through what I did and kind of gave me strength to make my move, because I worked for a civil engineer in Florida. And when the recession hit, I got laid off, and then I got total unemployment. And then she said there was work in North Carolina. So we came to North Carolina, and I went around suit and tie for an engineering job, and I was all told I was overqualified. So I went back to what I knew, mechanics. And then as years of turning wrenches, she encouraged me to start a mobile truck repair service, which I was kind of scared. Had our first truck that I paid $50 out of a junkyard, and we argued about that. But
we need to feed our family. That $50 meant whether or not there was food on the table or not. I'm sure we went from paycheck to paycheck.
But I hustled and I worked on the side and did work for that salvage yard, and finally he dropped the price from $150 to $50, and took it home. Had to do some repairs to it, and then couldn't figure out what we were going to do with it. And then we logoed the whole truck, and then I got scared, so I took a pressure washer and de-logoed the whole truck, because wow, I got 3 kids, a wife, myself. Can I take this gamble right now? So I was hesitant. But we built it up slowly at nighttime over about 5 years. And at that one point, Chris said, hey, you're going to kill yourself. You got to run RC Mobile or keep working for the dealership. So I left the delership, and then we went strictly on our own and never looked back.
Wow.
Yes. So I wanted to, because most of the times when people go through those events, there are lots of people who go through those events, but they do not grow through the events. They don't grow through the events. So what made you, either Christine or Ron, what made you, this is a question from Dr. Ruben West, what made you trust each other after being, for example, Christine, after being abused? How did you establish a trust to be able to again get into a marital relationship and build life upwards?
Professor, what I've learned in life is listen to your intuition.
Yes.
And I knew when I met him, he was not like any other man that I had ever met. And what I knew is that he knew my value and he knew my worth and he knew the value of my children's and their worth as much as we knew his worth. And that's, that you have to find a man when you're going through that. And they are out there that knows your value and your worth as much as you know his. And
Wow, wow. Wow, that's powerful. And you know what I can say is this is I was on the phone with some people yesterday and I talked about the actual lie of perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection, the actual lie of it is everything is exactly perfect. But in reality, man, process is perfection.
Mhm.
It's what you walk through. If you had any idea where things would have ended up, there's no way that you would have started on certain journeys in life.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But it's that process that helps educate us. And Christine, one things, you're a World Civility Ambassador.
Mhm.
You're one of the things that I can say that's major about you is when we stand you in front of people from different cultures, they don't believe your story.
Mhm.
They actually think you're the white American lady
Yep.
that came from Privilege Hill
Mhm.
and you had everything handed to you and they don't understand. So when you tell your story, you automatically win the hearts of people. I was with you in Guyana where as you spoke, my goodness, you had the whole place was like, my good, they couldn't believe what you had been through. So
Mhm.
see, and that's part of what I love so much about what you're doing is you can relate at a certain level to people that have had challenges in life.
Mhm.
It's amazing. Could you elaborate on with the work you're doing? You're in Africa, you're in Guyana, you're in Kenya,
Mhm.
you're in Uganda. Can you please elaborate a bit about when you tell
Oh,
Uh-oh.
there you go.
You
yeah
As
as you
froze.
you
tell your
said,
story as you tell your story what it does for other people?
can you repeat that because you froze just a little bit on me?
Okay. Yeah. I said, as you, again, the people have an expectation of you, of having had
Mhm.
everything in life work for you. You were just the person
Right.
with the silver spoon. But as you share your story with different people in different cultures, what kind of connection does that give you with that group of people?
Oh wow! I mean, it's powerful
Mhm.
because even here in America, people can look at me and they would never think that I've been through what that I've been through. And when I tell my story, that's going around the world, when I'm standing up there at first, they all they see my color and everything and who I am, and when I tell my story afterwards, it's like, wow, I've been through that. She knows what I've been through. She understands me. And like, what I've traveled around the world, in Guyana and Kenya and Uganda, and like I've, talked to you about is like for me, because, I'm not this person that's up here. I'm level with everybody in
So
the
true.
world.
So true.
And for
That-
me, when I go to these countries, I have to go where the people need me the most for
Mhm.
them to understand and for them to, because I understand what they've been through. I know
and-
what they're going
yeah.
through.
And I've watched you with my own eyes. This is a woman that treats every single person she meets, she treats them the same exact way. She, small kids, she'll go touch them. People, I mean, it's hard to find that because I've been around the world and certain cultures when they go into other nations, it's like the people are under them. So they
Hmm.
come with an arrogance. They come with I'm from the West, and I'm not talking any particular. I'm saying Western culture comes to different countries sometimes, and I'm
Hmm.
the Western culture, and it's like we're here to help you, but with her,
Mhm.
it's how do we work together? How do you educate me? I'll educate you, because Dr. Patrick, that's the new narrative of the world. The
Yes.
world is no longer accepting you're going to come and tell me everything about me from a magazine. No, get to know me. And
Exactly.
Dr. Christine, you're a
Yes.
prime example of
Yes.
getting to know the people. And Ron, when you went into Kenya, man,
I loved it. It was
Dr.
awesome.
Dr. Dr. Juma, you were helping him build his church. You were
Yeah.
giving, see, that's the heart of you guys, and I love it so
Mhm.
much. What did you think when you first went to Africa, having never been? What were your thoughts of Kenya?
Uh, Meeting the people, and mostly I spoke with like the staff, security guards, strangers. I mean, all down to earth. You know, they didn't look above me. I didn't look above them. They didn't look below me. I didn't. We're just equal, and we just had fun. We jaw jacked. We laughed. We talked. And then when I went out to the church in Dr. Juma's village, it was like I showed them different ways to present different things to help them. Here's something I know, and why not share it with them? That's part of civility. If I know it and I can benefit it, help you with it, why not?
Yeah, what a lot of well, I don't know if you spoke. You was that you worked for a civil engineer
Yes.
in Florida. So when he went to Dr. Juma's thing, he literally drew the.
Oh, I drew them better design for trusses for the church, design for a church, as he called a storybook building, and then a design for cisterns to save water for when the dry season comes, and basically at the bottom of the cisterns create more water by building a lake or a pond,
Mhm.
which takes time but can be done.
And the for the girls not to.
Oh, and then explain to them about lavatories, and not so much for the clothes. Well, I should say not so much for the comfort of a seat, but for the safety of the clothes getting stains on them and connecting with diseases or bacteria,
Oh, wow.
where so they have the seat would keep their attire off the bottom, where it would still work the same way, and how to make a better drainage system for that as well.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So thank you very much. In case you've just joined us, we are on Greatness TV. The show is Great Lives, and we are really with great people this evening in London, this afternoon in California, wherever you're watching from. So we have two great people here who have walked from the worst to the best. But along that path, there are lots of things, there are lots of events that have made that happen. And we are currently talking about the experience in Kenya. And some of our viewers out there, they are asking some questions, Ron. Some of our viewers are asking some questions, Christine. So Dr. West is asking, what was it like to go to Kenya and being a white person? Remember, maybe that was your first experience in Africa. So
Yeah.
how did you feel? And as well, this to Dr. Christine. You're working with the girls in Kenya. What is it like? How different is that? What would it make a difference if it was, for example, in a European city or an Indian city? What is unique about that experience? So let's start with Ron. You're going to Africa for the first time.
It was awesome. It was beautiful. It took her a little bit to get me on a plane.
Yes.
But what I seen in Africa was communities trying to bring themselves together, but they want the help, but nobody will give them the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants to put a price tag on things. And when one of my children were here, he spoke with Dr. Juma, and he explained to Dr. Juma, don't sell your land, rent it. They do it in Myrtle Beach. They rent the land that the hotel will sit on for 100 years, but they keep the land. So if the people don't want to pay the rent no more, they keep the hotel, or they tear the hotel down, but they still keep their land. And I was surprised my son said that, because I didn't know that, but he enlightened Dr. Juma with that. But I seen a question there at the church when all the girls and young ladies approached my wife and talked to her, and I was just blown away. It was like, and then see how even with Dr. West there, speaking and teaching, and the young girls that went to Chris and to Sonia and to everyone, it's just like it's like they wouldn't let her go. They wanted to keep talking and getting more information. I think one young lady even wrote her a note in the class while we were there in the church.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I got to speak to the young man from the church, and then also to another elder from the church. And I mean, at first they maybe thought like maybe what Sir Rivers says is, you know, we come from the West and we're going to try to tell you what to do. And I think they saw the reality in me with the joking and laughing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but trying to help them and show them something. And I don't know, I guess they were just like, really? And I was the same way. It's like, really? I mean, we're all just human. We were just having fun. It was like, I'm not better, you're not better. We're all the same.
Exactly.
Same thing with
You
the
know,
guard.
man, you know, Ron and Christine, that's what's so powerful about the both of you. I traveled the world, and there is no trace of you're better than anyone. You look at every individual as people, and that's why our World Civility movement, and this is why Every Girl Wins and greatness. Our concept is this: 7.8 billion people that all have a solution for another person. I was on an actual national show this week with Dr. Kelly Wright. He's a former Fox News anchor, and he's now a part of another network. And he asked me, he said, Dr. Rivers, he says, what is your view on what COVID is causing, the virus? I says, it's causing everyone to reconsider humanity.
Mm-hmm.
We now have to look at every single person that gets sick with another narrative.
Mhm.
Because this one person that's sick, if this sickness is a virus that no one knows anything about, it can shut the whole world down again. As tragic as this virus is, it's also making us open our eyes to the power of humanity. And Dr. Christine, Every Girl Wins is you truly want every girl to win in this world, and it's possible. So this is what I'm saying. I'm saying if we don't change the narrative of the world, let me tell you, every country I've been in where there was a civil war that took place, this is one of the techniques that the people use. They dehumanize. They're called cockroaches. They're called this. They change the actual label, and they have to create another human as a subhuman. When you create somebody as a subhuman, you don't look at them as a human. You say, oh, so now if I get rid of these people, I've helped the world become better because this was a subhuman. You and this movement that we have to change the whole narrative of the world. We have to teach people, because I was telling Dr. Kelly Wright, I said, I believe 7.8 billion people are 7.8 billion people solutions.
Yeah.
He just goes, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So see, what happens is with our civility movement, we are changing the narrative. Dr. Patrick, with his greatness, we're changing the narrative. We're saying, wait, there is greatness in you. There is this, every girl can win. So we are really opening the eyes of the world to a different way to view things in the world. Because I truly believe with every unsolved issue in the world, one of the 7.8 billion people have that solution.
Yeah.
That's why I love Every Girl Wins. And if you don't mind explaining, what is your education piece for Every Girl Wins? What is your education piece in that supposed to do?
What we do is we help women and young girls rewrite the definition of their life through our winning life literacy program. And
Wow.
that
Rewrite their history?
rewrite their definition of their lives. Yeah. Yeah.
That is powerful. Actually, the word rewrite resonates a lot with me. Rewrite as in writing, but as we rewrite as in making right.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of things, there's lots of ways we may be even walking into wrong lives. We're living wrong lives. So there's a moment you realize, like you said in your story, you realize at that moment that you are living a wrong life. You had to rewrite, make it right. And that's exactly what you're helping these young girls do. Going into their setting, looking at their challenges and building them up, that they're growing through the situations, realizing those oppressive situations. And there's not many people like you doing that. So what gives you the courage? What gave you the inspiration? I know it's your personal story, but what are the things that help you do what you do? Because you're almost in all countries at the moment.
Yes. Why I do what I do is, first of all, I never want another female on this earth to suffer in the way that I suffered,
Mm.
ever. And I do this for my daughter. I do this for our granddaughter. I do this. It's a legacy that I intend on leaving behind for every female on this planet to know that they are worthy, that they deserve everything in life, and they do not need to ever suffer the consequences that in life has for them. That they can do it. They can get themselves out of poverty. That they can get themselves out of abusive relationship. That no matter what's happened to their life, they can create that life they deserve.
Wow.
So basically helping them walk away from the wrong mentalities, walk away from the wrong settings, and focus on building great future.
More education.
Yeah.
More
It's
people
education.
like Dr. Kozachuk to teach and reach out through websites, books, phone calls to explain to them they are worthy. They're not a lower class. They're not lesser than anybody else. We're all equal, male and female. But as years set back in history, it's always been the male dominance to control the woman. Why? Why do you want to control her? If you try to be, eventually I mean, what's the purpose? And women, they don't want to control men. If there are, well, they shouldn't. It's equal opportunity for everybody. If I treat you as an equal, you treat me as an equal. In Africa, and even in London, and your country, I treated them equal. They treated me equal. I had fun. I talked. I laughed. I was amazed by the hotel we had the event at. I was amazed by London. But just the people in general. I mean, you get what you get. And if you're if you keep putting somebody down, it's going to, destroy their mindset that they can't do nothing when you shouldn't be doing that instead of lifting.
Wow. Well, and you know what? And you know what I think is so powerful is what I love so much about our movement is we aren't afraid to talk about God. Many institutions of the world have kept God out. So this is what I always say. I say, if you keep God out and he made everything, how do you expect to have winning solutions?
You can't.
You actually can't if you keep God out of the equation. I was on an interview this week with a group of people, and one guy said, how do we help the world? I said, first of all, no one can help me value me but God. God gives me my value. He gives me my assignment. So if I understand that, now I can look at other people from another perspective. So now I'm saying, because many times when I hear people in around the world talk about they did this to me, they did this to me, it's actually true at times. But nobody can have power over me because I know God made me. So I believe we need a literacy in God education because God created everyone.
Yes.
And then this here, I don't believe a university, any institution with 50 disciplines will have the education for 7.8 billion people ideas. So we take 7.8 billion people, say, get this education. Excuse me. God says, I don't want them to have that education. I want them to have this. So I'm watching the education systems need a new literacy, a life literacy.
Yes.
Like Dr. Christina, teach me, and watch this here. Let's just go another, when I'm on a soapbox for a second, Patrick, I'll come off in a second. Education, say if someone stops getting education in the 6th grade, do they stop learning in life?
No.
Nope.
No.
No.
Someone stops education after 12 years. Do they stop learning after that? No. Someone goes all the way and gets a PhD. Do they quit learning after that? No. So how come we have actually limited people to education and say you stop here? Well, I believe life literacy. That's what Dr. Kozachuk is creating. Life literacy. Your life receives education every single day you're alive. So let's promote life literacy. Thank you, Dr. Kozachuk, for creating this concept.
Yes.
And that's where the life becomes the subject of the study.
Mhm.
And I loved what you said about community, because some people don't value the community or the need for community or what that community can do for them. Now, this leads me to what Dr. Martin Luther King said. So we must learn to live as brothers and sisters, or we perish together as fools. So it comes down to the community. What James Mbiti said, I am because you are. And since you are, therefore I am. In other words, our lives are intertwined. We cannot live, we cannot be human by ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's why we do some of the things we do. We reach out to others, we help them when they need us most, and the other way around, they help us when they need us most.
Right.
So we cannot live by ourselves. And again, Dr. Rivers will agree with this as well, that most of the problems in the world are caused by people not being able to live together
Yes.
as humans.
Mm-hmm.
And
You know,
civility.
civility. You know, the wisdom of God is this. People, life can be so simple. Let me, and I challenge everyone with this. James 2:8 talks about the royal law is if you love your neighbor as yourself, you live under liberty. If you mistreat your neighbor, you live under transgression. Every country, every leader that's ever mistreated the people have had a day of reckoning with God. Because at the end of the day, let's go with a broad narrative. You can't, if you hinder the currency of God in people, God will visit you one day, because he said, what you sow, you reap. And that isn't only for the good. So I tell national leaders, I said, look at here. Well, one guy said, Dr. how do I know I'm doing it right? I said, when you create a policy, if you had to live under that same policy, would you be okay living under it? If you would not be okay living under that policy, then it's a bad policy. And this, Patrick, goes back to the principle of love your neighbor as yourself. If it's not good for you, then it's not good for them. So God put this wisdom grid, the royal law, he put it in motion to where if you treat each other right, we live under liberty. So we have a lot of malfunction in the world today, and it could be solved with one thing. Everything I do, would I be okay if the shoe were on the other foot? This is why our civility movement will take off, because truth delivers the same outcome everywhere. It delivers freedom. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for this amazing conversation, ladies and gentlemen. In case you've just joined us, we are talking about life. We are talking about life literacy. We are talking about the ability to learn from life and walk away from wrong mentalities, wrong settings into life, and life in its fullness. And that's what we're preparing people for through the work we do. The work to do with ethical wins of greatness or civility, helping people live their lives to the fullest. So, Ron, you've done a lot of voluntary work or philanthropy work in different parts of the world. How do you manage all this? Because you have lots of other things to do. What gives you the energy? What gives you the drive and the passion to do what you do? seeing the need somewhere and responding to that need. Even if you don't know those people, you're still busy helping them build houses or churches or giving them free knowledge. What helps you in all this?
I believe like what Dr. Rivers says, God gave it to me. Why not share it? If I can help you with something I know, because in return, you might be able to help me with something I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We can work together. And it's like, okay, I knew some more about engineering, but not a lot. But I seen what they were doing that I know what could help them. When I lived in Japan, I seen different things happen there. They educated me. I didn't know. But as we live, we grow every day. We don't have to have the actual school, college, high degree if, in our situation, we cannot attend it. And when I worked in Florida, I mean, I went straight from high school to working for a civil structural engineer. I had to go to college for more math, but I knew it. I knew how to draw. I knew how to design, and he taught me and showed me for 6 years until the recession hit. And then military mechanics, before military, buy your own car, you break it, you fix it. And that's how my parents were. You need it, you fix it. So I'd learn to fix, I'd speak to others, I'd read some books, but not to be perfect, but to know. As is the Marine Corps, we're a jack of all trades and master of none. But why not share the knowledge if I got it, if it can benefit somebody else? And not to be judgmental or put people down, but to show them, hey, this is a better idea. Hey, do it this way here. And just help people, be real.
That's good, Patrick. I want to share a story Ron, that's beautiful. I want to share a story of how I learned I wasn't the smartest person in the world. Okay. God has taken me and really had to turn some things right side up in my life because I came to him very, very raw. When I went to a country, I had just bought a new Razor phone. Remember when they had the razors that you opened up?
Yeah.
I went into a country and I arrived early, and I actually had the phone number of the guy that was picking me up. So I get to the airport, Patrick, and I'm there early, and I pick up the phone, I turn it on, I call the number, and it wouldn't work. Okay, so then I walk around and ask people, "Can you help me call this number?" No one understood English. I had a phone that could call anywhere in the world. I didn't know how to communicate to another culture.
Mm-hmm.
And that day, the Holy Spirit said, "Are you the smartest one here now?"
Mm-hmm.
No.
You can't even make a phone call. And the guy lived a mile from the airport. I didn't know it. And finally, after 3 hours, someone came and understood my accent. They go, "Your accent is wrong. Your accent, we don't understand your accent." I go, "No, you have an accent." They go, "You have an accent." So guess what? I had an accent, and it took 3 hours to find someone that could call the number that was right around, and it was +011.
Yeah.
Those three numbers kept me from getting where I needed to go. So at that point, and I'm going somewhere with this, at that point, I understand that every culture has value, and every culture is priceless, and every culture's information can help me. So that helped me step off the horse everywhere I go and now say, how can I work with you? And Christine, that's what you and Ron do everywhere you go.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for that amazing contribution, Dr. Rivers. Yes. So, Christine, there's another project you're doing with the girls, is empowering them through planting crops. Could you tell us more about the project?
Yes, it's called Plant a Garden Project.
Yes.
And the Plant a Garden Project is we want to help women and females and girls around the world. What we want to help them do is be self-sufficient and to know that they can put food on their table, that they can also take the Plant a Garden Project and they can do an entrepreneurship with this. And it will also help them build their confidence to know that they have achieved something and being able to put food on their table, to be able to be self-sufficient and being an entrepreneur at the same time. So I'm so excited about this. It's right now in Kenya, it's in Uganda, and also in London, UK right now.
Wow. So how do people participate in that project? Let's say if I want to participate in the Plant a Garden project, what
Um,
do we need to do? What are the options available for us if we want to work with you?
they can go to my website and find out more information about it. There's a sponsorship that they can sponsor a girl. We also have where they can also sponsor a village if they want to also sponsor a village. My contact information is on there. They can contact me if they want to know more information on how they can get more involved and more countries getting involved in it. And I really encourage, just call me, because these girls, being self-sufficient and their confidence and knowing that they can do this is going to be powerful. It's powerful.
And Dr. Patrick, if you don't mind, Dr. Christine, this pandemic, how many people have died from hunger in these countries and not the virus?
Mm-hmm.
Because many countries live hand to mouth every day. We go do it. This project is so important because there were no emergency response teams in many countries of the world. They just locked down and no one was coming to help.
Right.
So for a woman to have the skills, the entrepreneurship to be able to build her own life, what the virus didn't kill, hunger was killing many people. So thank you for that.
Yes, and that's what's really happening because there are lots of other countries where people are in lockdown, but they're not given food or they can't go out and buy the food. They're not working. They're not getting any government help or support. So the moment or the time after this COVID, or when most of those countries start opening, it's going to be very, very challenging. So food security for
Yes.
every family is very important. And most of the cases, is a girl child, is a woman who is in that kitchen trying to work out what to cook for that night.
Yes. Yeah.
A
And
lot of men don't cook, but in most countries and in
True.
most cases around the world, it's more or less it goes down to the responsibility of women. So that project is very, very, very powerful, and I encourage anyone who can reach out and find out how they can help and participate in Able Girl Wins project titled Plant a Garden.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Rivers.
I
You
just what I want to say is Ron and Christine, thank you so much for the heart to think about someone other than yourself. You don't have any need in the world to actually leave your community. You have you're blessed. You have everything, but yet you give for everybody else. And Patrick, I want to share. Ron and I are building something right now called Male Civility. Male people, it's coming soon. Male civility. We can't have great people like Rebecca Harper with family civility. We can't have legends like Ona Miller, female civility. We can't have rock stars like Dr. Christina Kozachuk with Every Girl Wins. And we sit here and have nothing to empower men to be civil. This is what it's like, Dr. Patrick. It's like you fix everything else but leave off the actual nut. I'm not saying men are nuts either. You actually leave off the component that holds things together, and that's all of us need to be in our place, putting the pieces together, and male civility is something that Ron and myself are working on right now to empower every single. Can you imagine empowering family civility? Can you imagine Every Girl Wins? Can you imagine female? And now can you imagine male civility?
and can we imagine as well very soon girl civility?
We got everything. So
Yes.
this movement of civility, I believe, as the world opens back up, the only narrative that will put the world back together will be civility, treating people with love and kindness and respect. in every institution because the actual resources didn't help people when no one could leave their house. And this is why I'm honored. And Patrick, I want to thank you for amazing show. You are giving people inspiration. You are empowering people to hear other people's greatness. And for that, we're excited.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for your appreciation. But it's very important. Thank you very much for your time, because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of planning and as well courage to come and help other people, to share your knowledge, to share your dreams, to share your hopes for the world. But as well, how we together, we can make the world more civil. How we can move the world to greatness. Yes. Thank you so much. So we're coming to the end of the show. It's been a great privilege and hosting you this evening. Thank you very much for watching us. Just before we leave, we're going to hear the last word. So last pieces of advice from our guests tonight.
What's that?
So let's start with Dr. Christine. Your last word today. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, both of you, for having us on here, because it's just such an honor. When I come on Facebook to be able to share my message, and now be able to be standing beside him to even share the more of a message between females and males, I just felt like that has been a piece of the puzzle for the last year and a half that's needed to put us together for the Evergirl Wins and male civility. Because what I know with Evergirl Wins is the stories that I hear about, we need something like that for the males in the community, and things like that. So I am so excited for that. And I'm so excited to see what happens in the next year with the end of the Evergirl Wins Institute and the Plant a Garden Project and the International Evergirl Wins Day. I'm just so blessed, and women, you females and men out there, just keep winning. You are winners. You just got to know your value. You just got to know your worth. You get out there every day and you know what you want, and just keep winning it every day.
Thank you so much. That's a thank you from Chicos. I think she's watching from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Christine, for being a strong woman. I am greatly inspired.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
Wow.
Ron.
Ron,
Yeah.
now what are your parting words?
Parting words. This chronic virus has opened up a lot of eyes, and the gardening project, along with civility, is like going back to our ancestry. There was no stores. We had to survive on our own. We all forgot how to do that. We all expected the stores to have. We all expected mom and dad to have. We all expect to go back to the basics, start supporting yourself, self-sufficient. And men can help women in the garden. Women can help men in the garden. When I grew up, I had to spade the garden, weed the garden, me and my brothers. And we grow our own vegetables. We raise chickens. We had our own eggs. Everyone can go back to the basics, but everyone forgot. Everything got so simple, so fast, so easy. And this is God's wake-up call. People will get real. Stop.
Wow.
Too much of unnecessariness. But yeah, so proud of this lady who was explaining to me how to get on this interview, which I went even to London. And Dr. West, I got to say a shout out to him, because he's always tried to put that mic in front of me, and he says, Ron doesn't say much.
This is his first interview, and it's international. And I said he couldn't be in better hands in two great men in this world for him to be with right now.
And I thank you, Professor Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have a great link as well from one of our viewers, Dr. Nana. She says, you're a power couple in civility.
I love it.
Wow.
You're a power couple in civility. And Dr. River is going to unpack what that means.
We are so blessed with our civility movement to have people like Dr. West, Dr. Rebecca Harper, Raymond Harlaw, Anana Pfeiffer, Christina Kozachuk. we can change the world. It's possible. It's possible when you put when you put something small in the hands of God and become thankful for what He's given you, He will multiply it. So I am so grateful for every single person that's working with us to help protect what you're doing with civility. You're helping to protect the image of God, and that's people. And God appreciates people that are protecting His people. So I feel so honored to have some of the greatest people in the world that we're working with. And no one's anyone's boss. We work together at all costs to help that's lost.
Yeah.
Steve Sizzle out.
I like that.
I'm honored to meet all the gentlemen and ladies through her project and through interviews, through London, through Africa, Kansas City, everywhere. I'm honored to meet all of you gentlemen and ladies.
And ladies.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all our viewers, for being great. Thank you to all the greatness on this platform tonight, Dr. Christine Kozachuk and Ron Kozachuk as well, for inspiring us, for sharing that story, because not everyone can come to an international platform and share from their heart. We are living from this show, having learned from your overflow, because you can only share once you're full. Once your cup is full, then whatever goes out, it should be good. And that's what we're getting from you. We are looking from your overflow greatness. And thank you for living your greatness.
Thank
And
you.
wish everyone a happy afternoon, a great afternoon, have a great weekend. And those are about to sleep, a great night. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oops.